This is your punishment for always being so naggy, Michelle. My mother-in-law locked the storage room door from the outside after saying that. Then, she left for a weekend getaway. The storage room is a stuffy space with no windows. If I stayed in there for the whole weekend, I'd be dehydrated. Worse still, I didn't have my smartphone with me, so I couldn't call for help. However, I had one last hope. I decided to patiently endure my time in the storage room, hanging on to that hope. My name is Michelle, and I'm 30 years old. I married Mark, who is 2 years older than me, a year ago. Upon getting married, I quit my full-time job and started working part-time locally. Mark told me I could be a stay-at-home wife if I wanted, but I chose to earn my own spending money. Furthermore, I've been living with my mill since we got married, and it's obvious she despises me. I've always stood up to her bullying tactics. Michelle, please redo the living room cleaning. Look, I found this hair on the floor, my mill says, showing me a strand of short, light brown hair. But my hair is long and black. The brown hair obviously belongs to her. Once, she even pulled out her own hair just to nag me about cleaning. So I reply, I double-checked after cleaning today. Isn't it your own hair that you've pulled out? Infuriated, my mill turns red and says, why would I do that? Just do as I say. I sense that I hit the nail on the head. But I can't ignore her completely. I quickly redo the cleaning. It seems to satisfy her. She also deliberately sabotages me. For instance, she crumples the laundry after I've smoothed it out and hung it to dry. When you go to take in the laundry thinking it is dry, without knowing it, you end up with wrinkled laundry. Then she targets my laundry specifically. What a wicked mill. She comments sarcastically as I'm folding the laundry, so wrinkled. What a shame. Looks like you'll have to rewash or iron it, LOL. I retaliate by intentionally leaving her laundry wrinkled. There's someone who gives me ideas on how to counter her. My sister-in-law, Kate. Kate rarely visits because she doesn't get along with her mom. But we click and sometimes go out for coffee on weekends. Mark is aware of this and encourages me. Kate, who's pretty straightforward, helps me brainstorm ways to stand up to my mill. My sister-in-law is the one who helps me think of ways to get back at my mill. Yesterday, she complained that my soup was too salty. Like, does she want me to get high blood pressure or what? And if Mill is that concerned, why not just make the soup super bland? You can say it's for her health. Think she'd go for it? I see. I was thinking of making soup, but saying it's for her health is a good idea. She'd have it if she doesn't like it. LOL. An eye for an eye, it's just common sense. Gotta do it to survive, you know? LOL. You're so right. You're a genius, sis-in-law. Kate and I share a laugh. Maybe because neither of us is a fan of my mill. But the situation has reached a point where I no longer need to use the tactics Kate and I devised against her. My mill suddenly stopped her nagging and nitpicking, believe it or not. have no idea why she turned over a new leaf. But she not only stopped complaining, she even started thanking me. "Michelle, you're working part-time today, right? Just do a quick cleanup. You always keep things neat, so don't worry about it. Thank you for always ironing the laundry. From now on, I'll take care of my own stuff, so don't bother. I know it's tough on you. The food is so delicious today. Seems like your cooking skills are really improving. Keep it up." She started to shower me with compliments. At first, it was so strange that I didn't know how to feel about it. I even reached out to my sister-in-law asking, "Mill's been overly complimentary all of a sudden. What should I do?" My sister-in-law was equally puzzled. "That's really odd. Can't imagine her changing her ways so easily." What to do, indeed. We concluded, well, as long as she thanks you, go with the flow. If she starts acting up again, we'll think about something. Fast forward to about a month later. My mom has consistently been nice to me. Then, something interesting happened. My husband announced he'd be going on a business trip for 3 nights and 4 days. His job doesn't usually require frequent travel, but when he does go, it tends to be for an extended period. Upon hearing this, my Mill also decided she'd go on a mini vacation with a friend for 2 nights and 3 days. Could it be? Will I get to enjoy some alone time? I was getting really excited. And both my Mill and I had our own plans to look forward to during his absence. My husband left for his business trip the next day. Today is the day my Mill leaves for her trip. Oddly enough, she asked me first thing in the morning to clean out the storage room she always uses. The room has no windows and gets hot easily. It's not the type of room you'd want to be in during the summer. Still, she insisted, "I really need you to clean this room." So I reluctantly went in to tidy it up. Within minutes, I was sweating bullets. Why would she want me to clean such a hot room? I didn't know, but I just started to organize anyway. After a while, I sensed her presence near the door. Is she leaving for her trip now? I looked up, and there she was, smiling smugly at me. Then she slammed the door shut. I even heard the sound of a lock clicking. "Mill!" I rushed to the door, jiggling the knob to try and open it. But the door wouldn't budge. I started pounding on the door. "Mill, what's going on? Open the door." No matter how much I screamed, it wouldn't open. Then I heard something that sounded like a death sentence. "This is your punishment for always being so naggy, Michelle. Enjoy the heat for the next 3 days, LOL." With that, I heard footsteps and realized she had left. I never saw this coming. It was beyond unexpected. Maybe her being nice to me for the past month was all leading up to this moment? If that's the case, it's infuriating how vindictive she is. I have no food, no drinks, and even my phone is missing. There's no way to call for help. But I was planning to be home alone for the next 2 nights anyway. Only now I won't be enjoying my alone time. If I can endure for half a day, maybe help will come. Holding on to hope. I decided to endure for a while. 3 days and 2 nights later, my Mill returned from her trip. The first thing she did was head to the storage shed where she had locked me up. She must have thought to herself, surely she hasn't passed away? But as she approached the door, a foul smell filled the air. Startled, she fumbled with the keys and locking the door to enter. The room was messy and empty, and the air was thick with a nauseating odor. Really? Frantically, my Mill calls out my name. Michelle. Since she called for me, I respond. What is it, Mill? My response came from behind her. Outside of the storage shed. Yes. I had successfully escaped from the room. All thanks to my sister-in-law, Kate. Kate also appeared in front of my Mill. Mom, how dare you lock up my sweet sister like that? Michelle was suffering from heat stroke. It was dangerous. Caught off guard, my Mill blinks in disbelief. What? How? And what's the source of this awful smell? The smell was just from some rotten fish I had left in the room. I show it to my Mill. This is the source of the smell? Just a little trick to scare you, Mom. LOL. Kate says, wearing a mischievous grin. Well, this trick was entirely Kate's idea. So in the end, it turns out my Mill was just a puppet in Kate's plan. We all leave the stifling storage shed for the cool living room. There, we discuss the incident. Taking the lead, my Mill asks, when did Michelle get rescued? Fuming, she questions us, even though she should be the one in hot water. Half a day had passed when we found her, 'cause I was supposed to visit her. Do you realize what could have happened if I hadn't? Kate glares at my Mill. She was in a bad shape due to heat stroke. It got better after N4 at the hospital, but she could have died. My Mill, now cornered, finally speaks. I didn't intend to kill her. I just wanted to clearly establish the pecking order in this household. I risked my life for this. I can't believe what Mill did, I said. By the way, does Mark know about this? My Mill asked. He must know. In fact, he should be home soon. We're gonna have a family meeting. Susan will be joining us as well, I replied. Susan is my mother-in-law's sister, who my mother-in-law can't stand up to. Wait, you're calling Susan? I didn't agree to this, my mother-in-law exclaimed. Well, I bumped into Susan yesterday, and when I updated her on things, she insisted on being invited to the family meeting. LOL. Just then, the doorbell rang. Speak of the devil. Is that Aunt Susan? My sister-in-law joyfully went to answer the door. For a moment, it was just me and my Mill. What's it like having so many people on your side? She sneered. It doesn't change the fact that you're wrong, Mill. You locked me in the storage room and tried to get rid of me? LOL, I retorted. At that point, Susan, my husband, and my sister-in-law returned. And so, the family meeting was about to begin. What the hell have you done? If you hated Michelle so much, why did you even live together? Susan spoke the obvious. My Mill shrank back, unable to answer. Mom, I had no idea. Were you mistreating Michelle this whole time? And then you pull this stunt? I can't believe I trusted you, my husband said, visibly upset. Finally, my Mill spoke. What's the big deal? It's not like anything happened. I didn't do anything wrong. A collective sigh filled the room. You're missing the point, Mill. You locked me up, I said. Don't you have any remorse? And Susan asked. Why would I? I did nothing wrong, my Mill stubbornly insisted. Mom, just grow up and admit your mistakes, or else we. My husband's voice trailed off. Or else what? My Mill snapped. We can't live with you anymore, my husband finally declared. Finally, he said it. I silently cheered him on. We couldn't continue to live with someone so thoughtless. Susan and Kate seemed to agree. I can't condone you two living together anymore. You should split the household, my sister-in-law concluded. Sure, after going through that, Michelle wouldn't be comfortable living together, right? She can stay at our place for a while. Both Kate and Susan immediately spoke up in my defense. My Mill started to panic at this point. Wait a minute. If they leave, how am I supposed to get by? What about living expenses? Didn't you bring this upon yourself by causing this incident? You should have known bullying Michelle would lead to this situation. It seemed like my husband had totally given up on his mother. Hold on, reconsider. Either we continue living together, or you help me out financially. Otherwise, my Mill was really desperate at this point. Kate interrupted. How can you even talk about help after what you've done? You're being selfish. Besides, you haven't even apologized to her. Now that you mention it, I haven't heard an apology from her. If my Mill had apologized, we might have reconsidered. But she insists she's not at fault. So why should we help her? You're done. Prepare to be on your own from now on. And for the record, I have zero intention of helping you either. Everyone from my sister-in-law to my husband and Susan laid into my Mill, who cried out, I'm sorry. But it was too late. What happened next? My husband and I quickly packed our things and moved into Susan's house for the time being. We planned to find a new place to live while staying here. Susan also spread the word about this incident among all the relatives, so no one would side with my Mill. In the family, everyone trusts Suzuna way more, so nobody believed my Mill's corrections. So my Mill ended up isolated with nowhere to turn. Even my sister-in-law said, I can't even consider someone who would treat life so lightly as my mother. My husband is also in the process of cutting off ties with her. From now on, consider her as good as gone. My Mill ended up selling the family home for some quick cash. Rumor has it that she moved into a cheap apartment somewhere and is living alone. As for us, we have moved to our new place from Susan's house. I started working full-time instead of part-time. We also decided to share household chores, as it feels more equal that way. Until now, I haven't been able to work hard because of my mill, but I would like to work hard from now on. We're thinking about having kids as well. We hope to make our future life fulfilling enough to receive blessings from Kate and Susan.